guys. Hola, hola, hola. Good evening. Good evening. Fingers crossed that all of our technology is good today. Can you guys hear me okay? If you guys can let me know. We work with the sound, so hopefully everything is better. Although I'm looking at my thing and now it's not all of a sudden. This thing is going to drive me crazy. We spent a significant amount of time messing with these mics. Hello from Sacramento, California. You know what's weird is I cannot read red. That's funny. And I'm sweating. Ooh, praise Jesus. Hey, hey. I can't hear you very well. See, again, I think I'm just going to have to order new mics, babe.
Yeah, you're soft.
I'm soft again. This is so weird. We spent, what, 30 minutes working on these mics? Let me turn this around and see if that makes a difference. This is the new dongle.
Try going to settings again like we did. And see if it's down and you need that boost.
Some oh, there it is. You're right. Good job, baby. Okay, is that better, you guys? I boosted myself a little bit. So hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better. And maybe that's what's happening. It's like resetting that boost every time we go on. That would be weird though, right? For it to do that. Anyways, hopefully you guys can hear me better now. I put it up to 12 decibels. Is that what dB stands for?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. Better, better, better. Oh, good, good, good. So I guess that's it. It's in the settings. Ooh, praise Jesus. I don't know why I'm hot. Okay.
I'm just getting to that point. You're
Okay.
much better now.
Oh, very good. Good, 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 good. So that's what it was. I had to boost my audio so that you guys could hear me. So welcome, you guys, to Sunday Nights Live, Chattin and Craftin with Royce and David. Tonight, you guys, I have to remember to introduce myself, and then we'll say hi to everybody. My name is Royce, owner, and the voice behind the camera is my husband, David Bell, and together we make up Roycycled Treasures. And let's take a few minutes to say, hey, how y'all doing?
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm double checking both YouTube and
David's over there in the booth. I'm laughing because he's in a chair with two devices surrounded by my joint trying to figure out the sound. That's our sound booth, you guys. I'll show it to you guys one of these days.
All right.
I didn't clean my glasses.
There we go.
Don't you guys wonder how our glasses get so freaking dirty?
Sound is okay. Well, sound is acceptable.
It's acceptable.
I'm gonna say if it's okay, but
well, baby, not all of us can work in like a radio sound booth, you know.
yeah. Okay, so we want to say hello. Somebody is posting his Roycycled Treasures. So
hey.
I'm guessing somebody's struggling with switching between.
Yeah, the new Facebook interface is weird. You have to like actively go in and choose who you're going to be, but it still randomly reassigns you every now and again.
I've noticed that with the page that I control for work. So
yes.
Let's see. Sherry Spade Benhart.
Hey, Sherry.
Nancy Konjursky Koskovich from Wisconsin. That's
you
the first
did that
time
so much better than I would have.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen that name, so welcome. Corinne Godfrey. Hey from Corey and Sonia in Ontario. They're on a girls' weekend together.
Ooh, I want a girls' weekend.
Leanne Ziegel, Sharon Valencia. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Mary Sharkey from Chandler, Arizona. Jill Gomez Haley, Ocala, Florida.
Ooh, Mary, I hope you're going to come see us at Pinner's.
Holly Murphy, Connie Pop from Florida. Melanie Luchek is watching. Hi, Melanie.
Hey, Melanie.
Judith Graves. Melanie had a very brave post the other day, too.
Oh.
So, good job, Melanie. Judith Graves Brewer from Mississippi, Jenny Marmion, Tammy McGill Reed, Kathy Cook, Roseanne Incorvea Ross from Buffalo, New York. Sorry about your bills. Oof. That went down to literally the last second. I thought the Bills were going to do it, and they
team.
that was a rough one for Buffalo fans.
Oh, okay.
I felt bad for him. Shelley,
Did he really feel bad though?
I did, because you know what? When you get a safety in the last minute, and it puts you within 2 points, so all you need is a field goal to win.
Oh.
And you can't quite get it. Literally, they were trying to spike the ball to set up the kick, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it in time. They just didn't save a timeout. Shelley Sprague from Nova Scotia, Canada. Amber Demakowitz, Heather Dunham Ragsdale from Conroe, Texas. Jennifer Poling, Metamora, Illinois. Jenny Marmion, my Facebook changed me to Meta Business. Now I'm completely confused. Yeah, it does that to me at least once a day. Sylvia Davis from Tennessee, Chris Schmidt, Lisa Vansil, Kathleen Woods Haberly from Fresno, Marie Hardy from Massachusetts, Sandy Paget's up north in Michigan, Liz Garcia Bauer from Pittsburgh. Mary Sharkey says she's going to try to get to Pinners. She has company that week. Don't know if it'll work out. You bring them with.
Bring them with.
Hey, bring them with. But make them pay for themselves. You know. You're going to show them a good time, but you're not going to, lay out the cash, Mary. Yvonne Clavel from Orlando, Florida. Marty Williams Bailey, Redonia Bell Norman from South Louisiana. Buffalo is crying. You understand? I'm right with you. Wilma Burns from Chicago had to switch from YouTube. Chicago got a win. We were joking. I was joking with with our sports
writer
guy
Lee
over at the radio station. For whatever reason, the Bears were wearing Michigan State helmets today. Not University of Michigan helmets, not Michigan State. Nobody knows why.
Did they lose a bet?
I don't know. They were in their colors, blue and orange, but it was Michigan helmets, and I don't know. Oh. And Mindy Hogan Cassidy from Kingwood, Texas. That's all on Facebook. On YouTube, we have Stacy Alberton, says Ola from Texas. Kim Harden from the home of the Razorbacks. Stacy says it's very soft. YouTube is softer than Facebook. I'm not sure why.
Oh, okay.
But that's a platform thing. That's not an us. Tamara Brown smashed the thumbs up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
When Cupid says sounds good to me, absolutely fab finds from Florida. Verla McDonald. Let's see. Lisa Morris says hello from Indiana. Dawn Cahall from Pittsburgh. And Felicia Brown from Santa Barbara, California. Yes, if you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications.
Yes.
And share on Facebook.
Yes, let me start by saying, hey y'all, how y'all doing? Saying hi to everybody before we get started. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. If you guys think that your friends would enjoy our content, if you could share, that would be awesome. And if you're on YouTube, if you guys could click and subscribe. If you hit the little bell, if you're like on your laptop or desktop, then you'll actually get an alert when we upload new videos. I'm going to try to get better. My VA got a job, you guys. Anyways, whole nother story. So I'm not posting as regularly on YouTube, or I haven't been, but I will be. I have another plan. So we do post like succinct tutorials on YouTube once a week. This week though, I had a special guest, Lexi Grenzer, is teaching how to create this piece right here on my YouTube page. So if you guys haven't caught that, you can hop over there and catch that on the Roycycled YouTube page. But tonight we're going to work with the bushel stencil, because I realized we really don't have anything with the bushel. And so I thought we would work with that stencil tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys over my table. Thank you, Nancy, for sprinkling. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I need to move over just a little bit, because that little circle with that lady in it is getting in the way. So for tonight's tutorial or tonight's craft, I have a couple decisions to make, but I figured you guys could help me make the decision, even though I think I made the decision about the background, but we'll see. So we're going to be working with the bushel stencil. I did not have a nice clean one to show you guys because I sent them all out to my retailers, but this is what the bushel looks like, the stencil. And yes, no, I don't clean my stencils. I'm terrible, but that's why I like the Mylar, because I can be mean to them and they stand up to that. I'm not going to do this part again because I've done it already, but we'll go over it just in case we have some people watching who have not seen us use the stencils. So the Roycycled stencils are a little different than stencils that we're used to, and it's because our vision for them is a little different. And so what I've done is I've taken this stencil and laid it over several Roycycled decoupage paper designs in order to give our bushel some texture. So like this bushel, I laid it over the chippy wood decoupage paper, and so now I have this really cute chippy wood bushel. This one, I believe I did over the one of the, I can't remember now which one, but I did it over one of the crate designs, and so now I have like this wood bushel, right? And this one I did over the top of the rivets. And so now I have this like rusty metal bushel that I can incorporate into my collage and or mixed media projects. But I'm thinking for today, we're gonna just use, not just use, but we're gonna use our wood bushel. And I wanna use it in conjunction with IOD's Floral Anthology transfer. So I want to create a bushel with these beautiful flowers kind of coming out of the bushel. Is it the Underwood crate? I couldn't remember if it was the Underwood crate or the other one, the typewriter one.
And Kathleen O'Brien Hoovis says, how do you clean the stencils?
You can clean them, if you clean them right away, you can just clean them with soap and water. And I also like to use the Mylar sponges. They actually work really good to remove any, paint or anything. So, I mean, if you're a person who wants to take care of your tools, not like me, you can have like a little dish of water or something when you're stenciling and just drop it in there, and that'll make it easier to clean as well.
So I just mentioned it briefly. Please go ahead and share. Hit thumbs up on Facebook. That just helps remind people, because sometimes they don't get the notifications right away.
Yes.
And we get a lot of people that stumble in an hour in and they go, oh, it's on.
They didn't get the notification.
They didn't get the notification.
And
so
if you're missing notifications, you can put hashtag text in the comments, and you guys will get directions on how to join our text notifications, because I generally text out to my group before I pop on. I was a little late texting today, you guys. I'm sorry. I think it was like 5 minutes. I try to do 15 minutes, but we were trying to work out the sound issues. Yeah. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
And just somebody asked you mentioned that somebody asked for a link to my podcast.
Oh, yes.
So I put it up there. It's in the comments. Here's the thing though, guys. It's very local. It's a local radio talk show that I put up as a podcast for people who can't hear me live every morning because they're at work. They may not have a radio at their desk. So it goes up on our website. You're more than welcome to listen to it, and we would love that. But I also understand why somebody in, Louisiana or Massachusetts doesn't want to hear about what Our Neighbor's Farm and Pantry is doing in Safford. Maybe, but I understand.
I know.
That, by the way, is my guest tomorrow.
Oh, Our Neighbor's Farm and Pantry?
Yeah, who didn't know they were the guest.
Oh.
So, what's her name? She was in your leadership, not your leadership, your, what's the Freeport program for business?
Oh, the Shark Tank that we did?
No, not the Shark Tank. Mm-hmm. For female businesses.
Oh, yes. I can see the little logo, the little lady walking.
ASU School of something, Thunderbird School of Business.
Yes.
Does it too.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I can't remember the name
Dream
of it.
Builder.
Yes, Dream Builder.
She was in your Dream Builder Cotton Clouds?
Oh, yes. Eileen.
Eileen.
Yes.
Eileen?
Is it Arlene?
I don't know.
Yes.
She asked me if they could be on, and then I saw Kai, who's the new director at Salsa Fest, and I said, "Hey, looking forward to talking to you on Monday." She goes, "What's on Monday?" I go, "You're supposed
You've
to be
been
on my show."
voluntold. That's what happens.
So, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. So if you don't listen, I understand, but somebody asked for the link, so there you go.
So you guys, just to tell you guys what I'm doing, I have this piece here. I'm sorry, I'm already over here like working and making decisions. I have this piece here that I picked up at a yard sale or something, and it was a door to something at some point. I love pieces like this because they're already like kind of framed out just because of the way they're made. And so what I did today was I went ahead and painted the inside of it white before we got started. I know that I'm going to use molds around the edges, but we probably won't have time to get to that tonight. And I'm not sure what color I want the frame to be, so I didn't paint that just yet. So this is just like a scrap door or something that came off of something, but I always buy like cabinet doors or furniture doors whenever I see them when I'm picking, because they are perfect for creating upcycled artwork. And so I want to use our bushel, and I know that I want to use this wood one, right? But I'm asking myself if I want to use the ticking for the background, or if I want to use the Femoral Collage Decoupage paper for the background. I feel like each of them give very different feelings to this piece. I'm leaning toward the ticking, and I know I use it a lot because I like it a lot. But I just wanted to kind of visually kind of take a peek, if you will, to see how everything looks together. So I'm going to put my bushel there, and I'm going to put this here. And the Floral Anthology has a ton of goodies in it. But in order for me to get a good visual of how this is going to look, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this just a little bit because I want to lay it on there and kind of look at it. So if you've never used a transfer before, they're super fun because the only thing that's on here is the actual artwork. So you don't have to worry about fussy cutting. So I don't want to confuse anybody. But you can't use the transfer. You can't take the white backing off until you're ready to use the transfer. So I'm not ready to lay this transfer down yet. I just want to get a really good idea how it's going to look visually. So I'm going to kind of fussy cut it just so I can see it. But don't feel like when you use transfers that you have to fussy cut, because you don't. And so this specific transfer has so much goodness. This one clump of flowers is probably going to be enough for this project. And then we can go in and we can stick these pieces in there with it, just to shape it and make it look the way we want. And there's still like a whole nother clump of flowers on the back page, but we're only going to need to use one of those. And I chose this because it could be fall, right? It could feel like fall, but it doesn't necessarily have to be fall. But I am feeling like the ticking is going to be a better choice than the ephemeral collage.
All right. Amanda Dorier says, Mr. Clean erasers work really good.
You know what? So that's a Mr. Clean eraser. It's just the Mr. Clean is a brand, and the Mr. Clean erasers are more dense. There's a reason why they cost more than the ones you can get on Amazon, but you can get like a pack of 90 on Amazon for like $7. And so that's what I do.
All right. Patricia McKinney Cassidy, I guess, loves your coffee cup.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see.
My recycled coffee cup.
Shaz Conabier says collage paper. Nancy Konjursky Koskovich, ephemera. Amanda Dorier, can you mix them? Mickey Hopkins, I choose ticking. Leanne Ziegel, will the ticking go horizontal or vertical?
I would like for it to go vertical. That's why I just switched it, because I need to really see it. You know, my mind is really crazy, you guys. I'm so visual sometimes to a fault.
Sherry Benhart and Joy Brotis both say vertical ticking.
Yeah.
I vote not the ticking because I'm looking at another piece where the ticking is. I think it's been used too much.
I love the ticking.
I understand, but you know, when everything looks exactly the same, isn't that problematic?
Not really. It means they can all go together even though they're completely different.
All right, that's fine.
I'm trying to figure out if I want to use this. This one has like a lot of the cabbage roses on it. Or if I want to use this one because it has, I think this is a poppy. It has some different flowers in it. I think I'm going to go with this one. We have more diversity with this grouping than we do with the other one. So,
You know what? I still like the ephemera.
okay. And I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to cut the flowers out and I'm going to lay it out and look at it. So we don't have to make a decision right now.
And I'm not even saying because it's used too much. I'm looking at the barrel. And even though it's only a corner sitting on the ephemera paper,
yeah,
I think it makes the barrel pop.
the ephemera does compete less with the other elements because this one's a lot more bold. So it does compete more visually. I do not disagree with you. But I have to see them. I'm not sure.
Now, we had talked earlier today about a pine tree, a Christmas tree functionally.
Yes.
You obviously decided not to go that direction.
Well, the Christmas tree, the scale of the Christmas tree wasn't big enough for the bushel.
Okay.
I was going to use the IOD inlay, you guys, the Noel inlay. And that Christmas tree isn't really big enough. I think I can probably go in with some pine cones and stuff to fill out the bottom to make the tree work. But
Shaz is right. Royce already has her mind made up.
I do not have my mind made up. I honestly don't. I'm going to cut this. So I am like legitimately, unnecessarily fussy cutting these flowers out so that I can lay it out. We're gonna look at both options. I have not made up my mind yet, Shaz. I really haven't. Sometimes I'll ask you guys something and then I'll make up my mind during the conversation. I know, I'm guilty, but not today.
Somebody usually comes up with a great suggestion.
Yes.
Color or placement.
You know, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, and I'm hoping, I think with all of our collective creative minds, that you guys can really help me out. So, one, I posted last week a post asking a question. What are your, not barriers, but what are the things that challenge you creatively or that, you know, either keep you from creating or challenge your ability to create? And I cannot believe how many comments there were. There were so many comments. And there were some reoccurring themes that I heard in the comments. So one of them was that whenever I sit down to do a project, the one craft supply that I don't have is the one that I need. And so I want to talk about substitutions. You guys know how you get those little, como se dice, magnets for your refrigerator when you're cooking. And like if you don't have like baking soda, you can use baking powder and what is it? Cream of tartar. Or if you don't have eggs, you can use like a banana, like
or buttermilk. You can use regular milk and
with
vinegar.
Vinegar, yes, like cooking substitutions. So I wanted to talk about crafting substitutions. I think that that's like a wholly valid conversation.
Well, do you want to talk about that, or is that going to be?
Well, I want to
something
talk
for the
about it right
insiders?
now.
Okay.
I want to talk about it right now.
Okay, I thought it was going to the insiders.
Right now, I just want to have the conversation.
Okay, fair enough.
And so, because you guys will see me decoupaging with like varnish or 1-hour enamel. And I know that if you're new to creating or new to our niche, you may think that if you see me using that that's what you have to use. But that is seldom the case. And so I wanted to talk about substitutions. And I know that you guys probably have substitutions. So since, you know, I love decoupage, I'll start there. So when I'm decoupaging, I'm generally using Wise Owl varnish or Wise Owl 1-hour enamel. I use the 1-hour enamel specifically when I am using transfers because the transfers love the 1-hour enamel. But you can use Mod Podge, you can use a gel medium, you can use crystal clear chandelier from DIY. You can, I mean, you don't have to use what I'm using. And so I want to talk about substitutions.
Okay.
Because I think people think that they have to use exactly what the person who they're watching is using, and that's not always the case. And chances are, even when you think you don't have that one thing that you need, you probably do have a really good substitution in your stash. If y'all shop the way I do, I know you guys do.
Joan Volkman, who's watching on YouTube from Kenosha, Wisconsin, says, joining late, what have you missed? Not
We
really
are
much
nothing
anything.
yet. We
Yeah.
haven't really gotten started yet. Right now, we're just like, we're visualizing the project.
Amanda Dorier asks, is the ephemeral long enough to cover the piece?
It is. It's long enough. I just hadn't unfolded it all the way.
Okay.
Look how perfect that is for this bushel, you guys. I am just really, that's so cute. Okay, so we're just getting a visual right now, right? So there is something about the graphic nature of this ticking that feels really good to me. But we're going to look at both. And I'm actually going to listen to you guys' vote tonight.
I'll be honest, I like the ticking, but the ticking feels proper British to me.
Oh,
I don't know why, but it just, maybe because it's almost a British racing green, but it just feels very proper British.
very proper British. What?
Which isn't a bad thing.
No.
I'm looking at your sign that's right behind you that you did with it, and it's great.
It
it's,
is.
It's perfect for that.
And I did a whitewash on this one, which I could do. So
Yeah.
David is pointing out this sign that I made using the Christmas Valley transfer. And for this specific project, I actually did a whitewash over the ticking, which we could do tonight. So you guys see how this one is, the dry one is really graphic, and how this one is less so, right? So it's kind of in the background. So let's look at that one. So if we were to use the ticking and do a whitewash on it, and we're just trying to get a visual, it's just not as exciting.
No, you'd need the full.
Yeah,
full
I'd need
green.
the full on graphic ticking if we did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one option. And let's look at the ephemeral collage.
So Kathleen O'Brien Hoovis says cinnamon can be used to mimic rust if you don't have a patina kit or the correct paint color.
Oh, very good. Excellent. That is, yep, that's a really good substitution. That's actually an excellent substitution.
Shaz Conabir, I think people believe that the outcome won't be adequate unless the exact items are used, which is true.
Sometimes it's true. And I will tell you guys, if you guys participate in my tutorials, I will try to always be transparent with you about what I'm using. So for instance, I use Wise Owl's 1 Hour Enamel as my base coat. I didn't use the chalk style paint on this because I wasn't sure if this wood was going to bleed, and I didn't have any bright primer. So I would say if you're going to do something like this on a piece of upcycled wood, that you would want your white to either be a stain blocking primer or a closed paint product, like an enamel based product like this. You know what I'm saying? So if I were to use a chalk style paint on an upcycled product, I may have bleed through. So there are times when it does make a difference. But most of the creatives are pretty good about articulating when there's a definitive reason why you want to use a specific product.
Right. If you're doing a patina project, you want very specific paints
Yes.
for that, but that doesn't mean the brand, right? It
No.
just means
And it
the
does, and it
specific
may not
color.
need the paint. Like the cinnamon is a really good substitution.
Right.
You don't have patina and you want some rust, you can use patina.
Helen R on YouTube was having trouble with the feed freezing and then fast forwarding. I've not seen a problem on YouTube, so as Kim Harden said, it might be her Wi-Fi.
It may be the Wi-Fi.
But we're looking good on our end on YouTube.
Okay. So I've put down the ephemeral collage now, and I can put that over it. And what do you guys think?
So Melissa Pageant, I use Big Top, Crystal Clear Chandelier, Mod Podge, Golden Clear Gel,
Yeah.
and when desperate, watered down glue.
Yep, watered down white glue, absolutely.
She meant soft gel, not clear
Yeah.
gel. Yeah.
I know what she meant. Because so there are a lot of us on here, and we're all creatives, and we are serial creators, right? But So there's bleed through or crossover. So if someone on here is practicing more fine art, they may have like acrylic based supplies on their craft table already. So I was hoping I'd have some gel medium, but I don't. All I have is um, gesso. But gesso's not good for decoupage. I did find that out the hard way. But clear gel is a really good option. Now, this to me looks pretty. I mean, it doesn't look awful, but I don't know. It doesn't move me the same way that the ticking does. I think
The majority, I want to say almost every comment now says ticking.
ticking, right? The graphic nature of the ticking just brings something new to this, I think. So so let's do the ticking. So you guys see how I was able to help myself though, right? I didn't fussy cut it like super close. If you look really close, I left plenty of white, but I fussy cut it just enough so that I could see and to get a nice visual of what I wanted to do. I think that sometimes my viewers are under the impression that I always know exactly what I'm doing. Can I just tell y'all, usually I don't know what I'm doing. Just saying, just being honest.
Yeah, Phyllis Donnelly on YouTube says ticking for sure. Felicia Brown on YouTube says heat on paint for crackle rather than a crackling medium.
Oh yeah, so crackle medium, that one is really interesting. You can use white glue under your paint to make it crackle. You can use, I saw, oh, Tracy's Fancy. What, I should know her name. I hope she's not watching. She's gonna kill me. But she used hairspray underneath her paint to make it crackle. So yeah, there are even options for that.
So yeah, everybody's going ticking. Everybody likes the pop on the ticking.
I agree, you guys.
Kathleen O'Brien Hoovis, one video I saw used a salt wash or salt type paint. I didn't have that, so I used sawdust.
You can, so that's another really good one. So if you don't have salt wash, right, you can use, I know Dixie Belle has a texture medium. I know that you can use plaster of Paris. The plaster of Paris does not act exactly like salt wash though, so you may want to like play with it a little bit before you start your project. I find that the plaster of Paris like continues to like get thicker as I go along, which is not always my intent. And there is some, it's like a wood putty product, but it's dry. Is it Durham's? What is it called, you guys? It has the Muscle Man on the can. You can use that to add texture to your paint as well. So yeah, I mean, you guys have options. So I never want you guys to feel like, oh, I sat down to start this and I don't have that one thing that I need, because I bet you that you guys indeed do have the one thing that you need. It just may look different than you had anticipated.
You may have what you need, not what you want.
Yes, yes.
Jan Kilborn says they both look good. Maybe the collage with brown wash to make it look more vintage.
More vintagey. I'm probably going to
I think that's if you use the ephemera, but you're going ticking.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Dorothy Lage. How about this one? This is why I like Dorothy. Beyond the fact that she's wonderful. More dynamic with the ticking, but what would you do if you only had the ephemera, since you're talking substitutes?
Well, I would use the ephemera.
But what would you do to make
like
it pop?
to do? Well, I mean, we could glaze it, right, to make it look. Or the ephemera could be I think the ephemera would be a completely different project. Like, to me, if I did it on the ephemera, I would probably do a whitewash and then like stencil something or stamp something on there. Like, it's fall, y'all, or I don't know. I can't think of a saying. I think that will be good if you wanted to put some wording or something on there.
Durham water putty.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You can add that too.
We have both Liz Garcia Bauer and Barbara Garrell's baking soda is a decent substitute for salt wash.
Yes.
Joy Brotus, plaster of Paris mixed with pickling salt. Works well mixed with the paint of choice.
Oh. See, I knew you guys would have stuff.
Who's going into the kitchen for pickling salt going, I could do something on a piece of furniture with
Well,
this.
I have some cornstarch right over there, babe.
But I mean, just, that just says everything about the crafter mentality.
Oh yeah. Oh, everything's for crafting, baby. Nothing is off. Nothing is safe. So I've sized my paper, you guys, but I have left like about 1/4 of an inch on length and width ways, and that's just to give me a little bit of like. You guys ever start decoupaging and you like twisted your paper a little bit, and then by the time you get to the bottom, you have like a space right here? I just always think I'm going to do that, and so I always cut a little bit wider just to leave myself some room for error, just in case I do that, because I can always go in with a blade and trim this if I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm using 1-hour enamel. I'm honestly not sure because I poured this bottle and I did not label it. So I've been using it. I think it's 1-hour enamel.
Liz Garcia Bauer says, I've seen dirt rubbed into wet paint to give it an aged look.
Yes. And I think it's important to note that when you're doing substitutions, if I'm working on a craft project that I'm going to hang on the wall and that isn't going to really see any action, it's a lot easier for me to do substitutions versus working on a piece of furniture where what I use may be more critical. Something to think about.
Or a piece that's going to be involved with food has to have very specific items.
Yes. But yes, you can substitute. I did. So we're doing a larger piece today. So normally you guys see me using my little craft brushes to decoupage with, but this is the Wise Owl micro edge brush, and I use it when I'm doing my larger decoupage projects. I love my Klingon brushes. I love, love, love them. But these bristles hold on to a lot of product. And so I don't want to lose a lot of product in this brush because I'm only working on this. When I'm painting furniture or a larger piece, I love these brushes because they do hold so much product, which means that I can paint for a long time before I have to reload. But for today's purpose, this synthetic brush with the micro edge is going to work a lot better. And don't judge me. It's a hot mess. It's seen a lot of love. This brush has.
Leanne Ziegel, I've used nail polish instead of paint on metal.
Really?
I would think nail polish would chip. I would assume she sealed it after the fact, right?
I guess.
Because nail polish chips fairly quickly, doesn't it?
I don't know.
I mean, within a day or two.
They have newfangled nail polish now, baby.
I don't think I've ever worn nail polish, so I don't know.
I do not do my nails because I do stuff.
Yeah, I cannot say that about rouge or lipstick.
Oh my gosh.
I was an actor.
Oh, you wore lipstick?
Well, something on my lips,
Oh, okay.
You got to put something on.
You don't want to have crusty lips on stage?
No, because otherwise your lips disappear.
Oh, really?
Well,
I did not know.
Well, us white guys, our lips tend to disappear, yes.
Oh, okay.
Or at least this white guy. But somebody put something on my lips. I was like, okay, whatever.
So because I'm using the 1-hour enamel, I don't have to use as much product because with the chalk paint, it soaks up your product, right? But that's not really happening with this paint because it's a closed product. So
speaking of acting, I will throw this out there. Even Royce doesn't know this. I've been asked to be in a movie.
Oh, what, Jacob and Joseph?
Yes.
I saw that we're looking for people to be in their movie.
Yes, I had Joseph on Friday. They are producers, directors, writers. They just did their first movie last year, which you can see on Amazon Prime.
Oh.
Yeah, they got it up there. What was it called? Oh, shoot, they'd kill me now. What was it called?
I don't know, baby. Don't be putting me in no position.
Oh, don't do this. I'll remember. But yeah, I had Joseph. They're doing.
I'll remember.
They're doing an open casting call right now, and Joseph asked if I would be in it.
Very nice. You know, I saw somebody put their little chinkadeer in a plastic bag, but I don't know why it's bothering me. I don't like it. And I have some texture on this board too, so I should have gotten some saran wrap instead of the spatula. And so somebody asked earlier on the group when the retailers were going to get the stencils. Um, the first batch of stencils went out last week, and there'll be another batch that'll go out in about a week and a half. So
I thought that was the second batch.
it was the second batch, but
Yeah, so the third
batch. Yeah, you're right. You make a valid point. But a lot of people didn't have an opportunity for the first batch, so you know. Now I'm rubbing out the big wrinkles. The little ones I don't worry about because I know when the paper shrinks back, those will go away. But I'm gonna have some, which is fine.
Elena Burr and Marty Hardy both say just use the baggie.
Oh, I know, huh? See? Substitute that saran wrap for a baggie.
Shaz Conabeer sounds like an awesome opportunity. It'll be fun. I haven't really acted in, gosh, how old am I? In at least 30 years. And I never did film. I did TV.
Are you going to be like the old men that they ask for instructions when they come to town?
Well, I'm definitely the old man.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's a given.
I am so kidding.
I'm not playing the 20-year-old love interest. So I just want to get in a film so I can stay even with my old actor friends. Because we watched Terry's movie.
We did.
Terry Lynch is a friend, and we saw Ed Wyson in Mr. Mayor, the Ted Danson show.
Yes.
He was on there.
Oh yeah, he was complaining about.
Yes, he was one of the complainers about something.
In a community meeting that they were having.
Yes. So those guys are still getting work. I have not tried acting in a long time, so.
No, that'll be cool though, baby.
Okay, so we have, I'm guessing somebody new. Francis McNeil asks, what type of paper are you using? Is it rice paper or tissue paper?
So this is Roycycled Decoupage, and it is an 18-pound tissue paper. So it's tissue paper, but it's not the really lightweight tissue paper like you use when you're like wrapping gifts or something. It's heavier than that, so it's hardier.
And Pat asks us both to speak up a little bit. We are struggling with. I think there's going to be a new microphone purchase.
Yeah, it's already in my basket.
So
I was just going to see if we could resolve the issue.
We tried.
First.
I thought I had this solved, but I didn't.
Okay.
Dorothy Lage, I just noticed as a silent Royce tip, vertical stripes, you decoupage vertically.
Oh, you know what? I don't know why I did that. Well, you would. I mean, it probably would increase your odds of having them be straight.
And that's exactly what she said. She goes, it should hopefully keep the stripes straight. So,
but it was more about the space, because if I turn this wide in order to do side to side, which is how I have to decoupage. I don't know why I can't do top to bottom. And yes, my chair is still squeaky.
That's because, as I learned, this is a cobbled together chair.
It is. I'm gonna tell you guys. So you guys know those stools that the mechanics use? That's what I use because I can roll around and I can get around and I can do stuff on my
shelf
stool.
on the bottom.
Yeah, I love it. But that little seat was killing me. So I made a bigger seat for it. And I think that one of the screws is getting stripped out, and that's why it's creaky. So I'm going to have to doctor up my little stool.
Joey Lynn Principe, I hope I'm saying that right, asks, if I was going to use glass bead with a stencil, what would I use to seal it, or do you seal it?
I don't think you need to clear. I do not believe you need to seal the glass bead gel, because I think the gel that the glass bead is in is sealer enough. If there's somebody on here, and I have some glass bead that Miss Sherry Bernhardt sent me. I have it on my desk, Sherry, that I'm going to play with, because I got to do the globe. I had named it a snow globe, but people reminded me that you could use it for other stuff, not just for a snow globe. I'm going to do the slow globe with the Christmas Village transfer. There's a little house in there, and I want to add some glass bead to my snow. So I'm going to use it, Sherry, but I haven't used it yet. But Sherry, I believe that that glass bead, that gel that the glass beads are in is sealer enough. Because most of the time you don't want to have to seal your metallic stuff because it gets rid of the luster. Now, I'm going to show you guys something. This is what I get for cheating. I'm having tannins bleed through on my paint and my paper. I don't think I let my paint cure long enough. I mean, I didn't let it sit long enough to cure. And so tannins are actually pulling through here. But it's fine for this piece because it actually makes this ticking look like it's old.
Francis,
And I don't have to glaze it. Sorry.
Francis McNeil asked, "What decoupage medium are you using?"
I believe I am using Wise Owl's 1 hour enamel. It may be varnish, Francis, because I did not mark my bottle, but it is either Wise Owl's 1 hour enamel or
varnish.
Or varnish, one of the two. And they're equally good, you guys. It's just that 1 hour enamel, and this is why I think it's 1 hour enamel, is because last week when I was layering, my transfers were sticking lickety split.
Joy Brotis says, "I love Ray stencils. I often stencil, then use a paper over it. It gives it more interest." Dorothy Lage, "I agree. Glass bead gel has a fell medium is a top coat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if spray matte or gloss clear." And Sherry Benhart says, "You do not need to seal it. You are correct,
Okay.
Royce."
I just because of the usually when manufacturers make something that's supposed to be sparkly, they don't have you seal it because the sealers like dull it down and take away the specialness of it. So like Wise Owl's metallics, you don't have to seal those. So I'm going to use my dryer and just dry this really quickly. And then you guys know that, you know what? Before I dry this, I'm going to put my pail on. Well, let me see. I'll dry right here so I don't stick my hand in there. And so that we can kind of have a little bit of leeway placing my my bushel. I'm excited about my wood bushel, you guys. I probably shouldn't be so excited, but I am. You're supposed to remind me to work at the top of the thingy.
Oh yeah, it looks the same to me. So
oh yeah. Oh, I'm just messing with you, baby. I just love this. It's a heat tool. It's actually not supposed to be a craft dryer, but it's a craft dryer now. But it's so quiet. So on that questionnaire, there was another like string of comments, and it was about people's creativity and whether or not they're creative. And there were some of you, and when I'm saying this, I'm not calling anybody out. Like, you guys, please know that that's not my heart. I appreciate you guys sharing, because whenever you said something, it resonated with a lot of people. So the things that I'm talking about are not to call anybody out, but just for us to have like a conversation, right? So another response that I heard multiple times from a lot of different people was that they themselves were not creative and that they just copied other people. And so, you guys know what? Everybody copying everybody. Don't let nobody fool you.
And you're never gonna. I mean, unless you are an artist who took like 8 years of art school and can literally copy the brushstrokes of a master, it's not going to look exactly the same. So it becomes your piece.
It becomes yours anyways. And so you bring up a good point, because in art school, those students spend a fair amount of time copying the masters. That's part of how they learn. So if you find that you are creating things that other people have already created, like, don't feel bad about that. That is good. It gives you an opportunity to exercise your creativity. And what you'll find is that even as you do that over and over again, you will discover more and more about your own creative voice. But it happens in the doing, right? Not in the watching and the contemplating. And so Don't feel bad if you're copying what other people are doing. Like we all do that. Even when you guys come on and you see us doing something, I am willing to bet like a whole lot of money that we're inspired by somebody else that we saw do something similar. Or we're doing the same thing that we've already seen somebody else do, but maybe we're just putting our own little spin on it, but it's essentially the same thing. So you guys don't feel bad about that. When you say I'm not creative or I don't do anything that's unique, if you're doing it, it is uniquely you. And so it is absolutely unique.
Pamela Culp Adair, quiet dryer. It's actually not. Royce is pretending. It's not even plugged in.
Don't listen to him. It is. It is quiet. This is the Ranger heat tool,
You should
and
hold it up
it
to your mic
is
so I
in
can
my
hear it.
Amazon store. I should. You know what? I need to make a thing for my Amazon shop to make it easier for everyone to find. I saw somebody's post in the group that said Royce doesn't have it posted in any like a place where you can find it, but it's hard because if I put it on my page, it just moves when I post new stuff. So there's nowhere permanent for me to really post it. But I will post a link. Um, I'll program an auto response is what I'll do next week. Remind me, babe.
Marie E. Price Miller. Royce,
Yes.
when you look at a new piece of furniture or other item, what or how do you determine what you're going to do with it?
Oh my gosh, you guys. So the furniture or a piece usually tells me what it wants to be, honestly. Like for real, for real. And sometimes I argue with it and seldom do I win. Sometimes I've seen somebody do something and I'm inspired by that. And so I'll look at the piece and I'll try what they tried. And it may be halfway through, I may make some different decisions, but it may look a lot like the piece that I saw that inspired me. So it really just depends. Sometimes I make a mistake and that ends up being the unique part of my work. Is that I made a mistake along the way. And so it doesn't look like theirs, but it just depends. And you can be inspired by anything. I can be inspired by David and I were traveling and there was a building. Remember that building across the street from the gas station? My
Yep.
poor husband.
Parker, Arizona.
We're like illegally parked, taking pictures of this building and the manhole outside on the street outside the building.
Yes.
He loves me, you guys. So inspiration can come from anywhere. You know, you see something and maybe you see a dress and you're like, oh, that would be beautiful on a dresser or on a piece of home decor. Um, and that's something else too. If you guys find, like if you look around your home, that's a really good cue for like what you can do on your pieces. Like your pillows, throw pillows that you use or fabrics that you may have for your curtains or your favorite blouse. Inspiration can come from anywhere.
Pat Reed, this is my first time watching you. When you first came on, I had to gasp as you are a dead ringer for a friend of mine.
Oh,
Where are you located, Pat? Just state. You know,
Yeah.
we don't want your address or anything. Let's see. Shannon Booth says exactly. Melissa Paget, it's a great way to learn copying others.
yes.
Oh, TD just popped on. TD Woodall.
Hey, T.
Patricia McKinney Cassidy. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yes.
Amanda Dorier. Everything has been done, but no one will be you or do like you.
Exactly.
Both will be beautiful. Both will be different, even if you're using the exact same things. She teaches painting, and everyone is different. Even I give the tracer supply list and teach it.
See? So, for those of you who said that you're not, you know, that you don't think of anything new or that you can't produce anything that's unique, just know that what did King Solomon say? There's nothing new under the sun.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
I could have sworn that was Stevie Wonder.
Oh, stop it. It's in Psalms, baby.
All right.
So I want to walk through this with you guys because I'm seeing that more and more of us are either layering our decoupage or we're decoupaging over stuff that has a pattern. So if I were to decoupage this directly on the ticking, you would be able to see the stripes through because when the paper gets transparent, wet, it gets transparent, right? Or if you're decoupaging over a dark color, know that that dark color is going to bleed through. Now, your image will still be there, but it'll be a little bit laid back. And so I want to make sure that my bucket is really um, stands out against this ticking. So I am going to mist my plastic, and this is just a piece of plastic from one of the stencils, I believe. Um, and what happens is the water is actually going to do a couple of things. It's going to stretch my paper so that I don't get wrinkles, and it is going to make my paper stick to my plastic. So that's why I'm misting water on the back or on my plastic.
Yeah.
Yes. So now I can manipulate this and it's going to stick on there.
Verla McDonald on YouTube. When you watch, I feel so calm. Some instructors make me feel anxious, but not you.
Oh, good.
Felicia Brown on YouTube. So often we start with one idea only to end up creating something completely different.
Yes.
Also, it's okay to repaint or redo a project.
Exactly. Exactly. And so what I've done here, you guys, is I've just mixed some white with my sealer so that I can use this to decoupage. And the white is going to help make my decoupage more opaque so that ticking doesn't show through the back. Now, another option I could have done was I could have taken my stencil and marked it out over my ticking and just painted it white and then put my paper on top of that as well.
You did that on a piece 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I did. I used the stencil and then I painted it white. Well, I started over again.
You did an outline.
Yeah. Well, I started over.
Yeah, and then you painted inside the
yes.
Yeah.
So either way is fine, right? There's more than one way to get stuff done. But this is something that you can use, though. I wanted to demonstrate it because during our retreat, one of the retailers said I could never do it. And the thing that I was forgetting to do was to mist my paper with water. And so that is an important step because that's what's going to keep your piece stuck to your plastic while you work.
Lisa Vancil, is your Amazon page on your YouTube?
It is. If you're on YouTube, on my comments on all of my videos, I will generally put all of my
links
on there. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work and talk at the same time.
I think, though, it's tougher to see on TV than on a computer or tablet or your phone.
It's tougher to see
the links.
Oh yeah, you have to be like on your desktop, on your tablet, or on your laptop to see the links because they're actually in the the comments, like the description under the video.
Jennifer Stever says, "I love that you said that. I almost always start a project after something I've seen, but change things as I go.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not good at coming up with original ideas, but it's always mine by the time I'm done."
Yes. And so I was able to get my little bushel down on there, and I'm less likely to have any of that ticking show through because that white just makes it more opaque. Now, there's another tip too, because sometimes you want your back to show, right? Or you want your background to show through your piece. So if I let this dry first, and then I seal over the top, it's going to be less transparent and whatever is behind is going to show through less. There are times when I want my paper to be transparent, and when I want it to be transparent, like when I did the glass window for my front porch, for instance, I wanted light to come through the paper, then I would immediately seal this and it would actually make the paper more transparent. So because I'm trying to not have my background show through, I'm actually going to dry this first and then come back and do my top coat over the top. And what that's going to do is help the paper not be as transparent so that my wood bushel stands on its own even more. And I made a decision to kind of tilt my bushel because, I don't know, I like it like that.
Mama Bear Blue asks, what kind of plastic are you using?
So this is like a stiff plastic, so it's not like saran wrap. You want to use a stiffer plastic. What do you call this, baby?
Mylar?
It's not mylar. There's a name for it, like the floral. You can find it at a floral shop, but usually your packaging is this kind of plastic, right? So if you have stencils or
If you buy recycled papers?
transfers, yeah, the recycled papers, it comes in that kind of plastic.
See, so you don't throw it out. And you're helping the environment.
Yes, recycle, reduce, reuse.
Yeah, Shannon Booth says it covered to IOD stamp, she thinks.
Yes. So it's a stiffer plastic.
Mindy Hogan Cassidy, how much pressure are you applying when you were laying that down?
The paper?
The bushel.
Oh, the bushel? Not a ton, because it releases from the plastic pretty easily. And if for some reason it's not releasing, you can just like pick up your plastic and just kind of pull down one little edge, and the rest of it will release.
Marley Grace Creations. What happens if the paint comes outside the lines?
Thank you, Marley. I did forget to explain something. I should have pointed out when I was putting the paint on the back, I left about a quarter of an inch all around. It did not have any paint on it so that I wouldn't have that problem. But if you're afraid that that's going to happen, just be sure and seal over the top of your background first, because that makes it really easy to wipe off any excess.
Cellophane was the...
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yep.
I knew it was a word. I know, y'all, I'm a mess. I can't help myself. And so I'm just taking my brush, you guys, and going around the edges. I didn't want to put a lot of product on the edges so it wouldn't squish out. And so a lot of my edges didn't have product on it. So I'm just kind of going around with my brush and just putting a little bit of extra product underneath so that they'll lay down.
Jean Bartholomew. The dryer is in Royce's Amazon store.
Yes.
And a link is on YouTube, and it will be.
Yes, I will put up a link. I'm gonna have to program an automated response with the link too. I kind of meant to do that today, but.
And hello to everybody who's joining late. Welcome.
Hello.
Because we are at 1 hour.
Are we at an hour already?
Yep.
How does that happen?
I'm assuming because we always get people jumping on right around now. So I don't know if it's
maybe somebody else is live tonight and they're leaving somebody else's live and hopping onto ours,
or it's just the way the algorithm works, and
yes,
you'll get a notice an hour later.
So if you would like to make sure that you get timely alerts when we're live, like, you can just put hashtag text in the comments and you guys will get a message telling you how to sign up so that you can get text notifications.
All right.
Why do I love this project so much? I'm sorry, you guys. Doesn't that bushel look like, I don't know, it looks like it's a real bushel.
Shannon Booth, can you explain underpainting? That might not be the correct term, but when you use colors other than white under decoupage.
Yes, so, and I do call it underpainting, Shannon. I don't know if it's the correct term either, but that's what I call it. So there are several ways you can use underpainting. The first paper we're looking at, the Femoral Collage decoupage paper, or any light decoupage paper like this, can be really fun because you can paint color underneath your paper and it will show through. And so when I was talking earlier about there being times when I want my paper to be more transparent, and so I'll go right over it when it's wet and not wait for it to dry, that's one of those times. So sometimes I'll do really organic shapes of colors on my surface, and then I'll decoupage a light color over the top, and I want those colors to show through my decoupage paper. Another thing you can do with your underpainting is you can add depth to your project. So one of the ways that you can add visual depth to your project is to you do what I call a halo. I'm not sure if that's the technical term for it, but that's what I call it. And that's when you go around your edges with glaze or darker paint, and you kind of do the edges really dark. And so you can do that underneath your paper. And then when you decoupage your paper over the top, you get this really subtle halo on your project that can add beautiful depth to your piece. And those are just two examples. I mean, you can do, just know that if you're using a lighter decoupage paper and you put color underneath, that color is going to show through. So you guys can use your imaginations, like as far as exactly how you would do that. I do have a YouTube video that goes specifically over underpainting. So if you guys look for it on my YouTube channel, I do several examples of underpainting with your decoupage. And I think that's the title of the video.
Pat Reed just put in text. It has to be hashtag.
Hashtag text. Yes.
So Pat, we don't want to leave you,
We don't want to leave you hanging.
Yep.
So I'm just taking a few minutes to really make sure that this is dry. You guys know that when you're working with wood, your wood is porous, right? So it absorbs moisture. And so I just want to make sure that this is all really, really dry before I start putting down my transfer, because your transfers do not like moisture. If you ever find, you guys know how we are, right? We always rushing through trying to get stuff done. So if you find yourself in a predicament where you started putting down a transfer and your piece wasn't quite dry enough, and so when you lift it up, it's like lifting up your paint underneath, walk away. Walk away and leave that transfer laying on there and let that piece dry. And when you come back, you'll be able to lay that transfer down successfully. Not that I've done that before or anything.
Marie E. Price Miller asks, Royce, since you retired, do you find you are busier now than before?
The term retired is interesting because I didn't really retire. I just chose to work for Roycycled full time. So I'll have people locally who'll ask me like, oh, Royce, how's it going? And I just tell them I work for this crazy lady with an afro who thinks I can get like 14 hours of work done in like 6 to 8 hours. So yes, I do find that I'm busier now than I was before. And I thought I would have a lot more free time. I almost signed up for the Fab Lab class at the college because I thought I would have more time. But you guys know how we are. I just found stuff to put into those. I mean, I'm responsible, right? I just found more stuff to put into those slots. And growing and scaling my business, it takes time, right? So I have to do all the things. I'm the marketing director. I'm the mailroom clerk right now, apparently. I'm all the things in my business. And so I have a team and they're wonderful. I'm grateful for all of them. But a lot of the things that I do myself because I have control issues. It's my own fault.
And a new product.
Yes, the stencil line. Yes, it's been
wonderful.
It's been wonderful, but I have been super busy with it. I am loving that ticking so much. I don't know why I love this design so much. It just makes me happy. And I wish I could show you guys. It's so subtle. So I had some bleed through, some tannins that came through from this piece of wood. And it is so freaking perfect. I don't know. I wish I could let you guys see it. You guys remember about like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago when the French, the mattresses were like the thing, the tufted mattresses. I think that's when I fell in love with ticking. And so the idea of a vintage piece of fabric or vintage ticking just really makes me happy. And this is exactly what this looks like. So I'm really happy with that.
Amber Demakowitz, yeah, what is this retire business? Marley Grace Creations, I'm busier too, craft more, clean house less.
Yes. My poor husband, I finally, for years, I wanted to hire somebody to help me with housekeeping. And I wouldn't do it because I always wanted to clean up before they came over because, I'm crazy. And I finally broke down and I got help. My friend Kayla Gaines from Gaines Organizing, she came over and helped me do a huge deep clean. And we got rid of a bunch of stuff and we got stuff organized. And after that is when Esther started coming over every week, every Wednesday. Yeah. And it's probably the best gift that I could have given my husband ever.
Well, because I work weird hours too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. And you do help, baby, but
But
I told him though before we got married that I was horrible at housekeeping.
oh,
Look how pretty, you guys! Isn't this piece of flower is, I don't know if it could be more perfect for this bushel. And so I'm gonna have it hanging over the edge just like this. What do you guys think? I think that placement is going to be super pretty. And then we have some few pieces that we can kind of add to it to give it more interest so it doesn't look like it's just blopped there.
Shannon Booth, thank you very much. I mentioned the technique to another. They dismissed it saying just paint over the paper, but I feel both have advantages, and underpainting creates cool effects.
It does. And you can paint over the paper, absolutely. You can make sure you seal it first. Underpainting is more subtle. And so it is a very different look. If you want to make something look like ethereal, you know, and you want to put like a really soft blue underneath, it's going to be really hard to accomplish that feeling painting over the top of the paper. That's why I like to say I don't think there's like a right or wrong way to do things. It just depends on what you're wanting to accomplish in that moment, right? And so yes, underpainting is a beautiful way to add interest, and just kind of it's more of a feeling, I think, that you want to add to your pieces. And so I love these flowers, but I don't want it to feel like a big blop here. And so I'm going through and I'm going to cut out like some of these loose pieces because I want it to feel more like, I don't know, organic, I guess. And so I'm just going to cut some of these out, but I know that I want to put these down first and then lay this transfer over the edge so that these pieces will be underneath. You guys know what I mean? So even though I know where I want to place this, I'm going to put these down first so that they're peeking out from underneath the things that are on this big block of florals.
On YouTube, Verla McDonald, I love the flower transfer. Felicia Brown, love the placement of the flowers. It's like the stencil and transfer were created for each other.
Right? They weren't, but it looks like it.
Over on Facebook, Marie E. Price Miller. I find that since retiring, time doesn't hold me hostage anymore.
Yeah.
I love the freedom. Wilma J. Burns, retirement's a beautiful thing once you adjust. I'm loving it and the freedom to craft more. That's just the thing, though. You didn't retire. You just changed businesses.
Yeah, I changed jobs.
Yeah. No.
But it did take some adjustment for me. I mean, my job was an executive director of Seekis, and now my full-time job is owner-operator for Roycycled. So in that sense, it's what I'm saying. I didn't retire. Yeah. I just changed.
There was literally no retirement.
No.
And then while you were retired, I think I'll start a business.
No. My business has been growing, and I got to a point where I had to make a choice between, like on a daily basis, I would have to make a decision between doing what was best for my business and doing what was best for my job. And I didn't feel like I was serving my organization 100%, which isn't fair to my organization. So that's when I put in my 6-month notice.
But there was another factor there.
Well, yeah, I was taking care of my mom too.
You were taking care of your mom at the exact same time. So you had business growth, you had a family obligation.
Yes.
And being an executive director, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yes. That's not an 8 to 5 job.
Yeah. You could maybe do 2 of those. You can't do 3.
Yes. So.
I don't think you could do 2 of those.
I don't even know how I did. I honestly, when I look back, I have no idea. Like, how on earth was I able to maintain that for as long as I did?
I'll be honest. I think you even put Roycycled Treasures a little bit on the back burner.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Because it had to be.
Yes.
Mom was the priority. Marley Grace Creation. Royce, is the bucket yours?
So yes, I used a Roycycled. So I've come out with a new line of stencils. They're Roycycled stencils, and this one is the Bushel Stencil. And so I used the Bushel Stencil over the top of the trolley crate decoupage paper to create the bucket. So, and you can use it over multiple decoupage papers in order to get different textures, or none at all. I mean, you could theoretically just stamp this bucket and use the IOD, what's the stamp called? The Barnwood stamp, right? To give your bucket some texture. And so the transfers come with a lot of options, and each of them are 12 by 12, so they're a good size for
The
you to
stencils?
use. Yeah, the stencils, I mean, sorry. Um, and they're 10 mil mylar, so they're reusable. You can wash them, and reuse them over and over again.
Joan Volkman on YouTube. I'm with you, Royce. I hate housekeeping too. I always find other things I would rather do.
There's so many other things we can do, right? I want to find something to stick out here, but I don't necessarily want. I think this little vine right here. I'm gonna steal this vine. Maybe I can steal it off of this one. But this transfer is so beautiful, and there's so many little bits to this transfer. I really do love it. I'm going to steal this vine off of this flower, and I'll leave some of it, right? So that my flower isn't totally desolate. But I'm going to steal this little piece of vine to put on the bottom of my...
Mindy Hogan Cassidy. It's beautiful how David supports you in your decisions. David wants a sugar mama. This is selfish. I need a rich woman to take care of me in the manner to which I would like to be accustomed.
Oh my gosh, the manner which you would that you'd like to be accustomed.
Absolutely.
I know I put this one right there, but I think that this one would be better. And then that's my final decision, because I would like to actually finish a project in one live.
I want to
haven't
be the
done that in a
male
while.
Peg Bundy. TD Woodall, do you have a bee or a butterfly?
Ooh, you're right, T. I do.
You got 15 minutes.
I got 15 minutes. Okay. I will probably add one, T. You make a valid point. We need some pollinators on here, right? All these flowers. Okay. So I think that is my decision. I think this one can go here. Let me fussy this one. And I know I don't have to fussy cut these, you guys, but in doing so, it's really helping me visually to be able to see. And so that's why I'm doing it.
Pamela McDowell, I always say I can or will do it tomorrow, but as the Beatles said, tomorrow never comes.
I know, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. That's how I'm about housekeeping.
Yep.
Now, home improvement, I'll get those projects done, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a laundry guy. I'm not so much a dishes or vacuum guy.
No.
I will break out the broom, though, every now and then.
Every now and again.
Yeah.
Okay. I am thinking that that is going to be so pretty. What do you guys think? And we'll have a little bit of greenery creeping out here on the bottom. I'm thinking that is like proper pretty. Now I'm going to shift this a little bit because I don't want to lose this whole bloom right here. She's the whole reason I chose this piece. Although I have another one here. So this is my placement, right? And I could just chop this off right here, but then I would lose this flower. So I'm going to shift my flowers over just a little bit so that I don't lose that flower. And I'm going to cut it out in a way that I can use it for a future project.
Felicia Brown on YouTube. David, you and my husband need to get together. He would agree sugar mamas are the best.
Oh my gosh, my husband is a mess, y'all.
Joan Volkman, which transfer is that?
This is, you know what, Joan, let me pick it. I think it's a Floral Anthology from IOD is this one.
Marty Leibarger Hardy.
Yeah.
What is the pink brush you use with stencils?
This is the Floral Anthology. The what did I use?
The pink brush?
Oh, I think I use a beauty blender is what I use, and it's also in my Amazon store. They're actually made for makeup, but they are like really good for stencils. So before I lay this down, I'm gonna go in and trim this edge over here. I hope so. I didn't make sure I had a blade.
Angie Champagne suggests going up on the frame. Sorry, I just got a
You know what,
messenger.
Angie? I would do that, except that I don't know what I'm going to do with the frame just yet. Like, I'm probably going to add molds and paint this, which I probably should have done before I started. And so I feel like it would be a waste to have it go up on the frame, and then I end up just painting over it, as opposed to my cutting it like this and then having it available for another project another day. I'll make these craft supplies stretch, y'all. Y'all don't even know. I need to trim this, and I am not seeing anything sharp. Do I dare use my sleeve though? Do you see an X-Acto knife anywhere, Daddy?
No, you've asked for one a couple times. I don't know where you put yours. There's the scissors down there.
I know, I have scissors up here too. I just don't think. I think they're in one of these. Is that white one right there? Is there stuff in that one? It's a tray just like this one?
Let me see.
I just love this project so much. That's not always the case, you guys. Sometimes I do a project and I hate it when I'm done.
No.
No,
No, but you got some butterflies. Well, they're on
There's a
paper.
black tray right there. Is there any in there? It's underneath the keyboard. Let me see that one. Maybe it's in there.
I don't think so.
No? Well, what the heck, Royce? Where'd you put your stuff?
Did you put it in the travel bag?
Oh, you know what? You see that clear? No, to your right. It has a lid on it. Right, go to your right, Daddy, your other right. Right, down. No,
I'm going to the right. If I
know,
keep
go
going.
straight down.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't say that far.
Thank you, because this is what we took to Tucson. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, man. George moved my stuff around. It's not. Those are all, that's not it, babe. There's a container just like that we took to Tucson,
Yes.
and that is where my thing is. Okay.
All right.
It's okay. I hate to use my scissors. You guys know what? I'll trim it later. I'm just going to trim it later. Perfect thing for me to do would be to trim this extra paper off before I put my transfers. But I do not have my knife, and I don't want to ruin it, so I am just going to not do it. And so, okay. So, but before I put the big blocky one down, I am going to put down the smaller ones first so that they can be underneath, coming from underneath.
Marley Grace Creations. I heard my husband whisper to my mom who came to visit. She used to be so picky about her house. Now all she wants to do is craft.
And you know what? Crafting is, for me, when I am feeling, when I'm dealing with any kind of hard emotions, I can sit down and craft and it helps me to process. And so that's part of it for me too.
Yeah, Rima Bichara or Bicara. Read her mind. Yeah, I know. I can't do that.
You can't read my mind?
Let's see. Marley Grace Creations. Is that a Cricut Mini Easy Press? Do you like it or no?
Oh, it is a Cricut mini press. I do love it. I use it for my iron on decoupage. I've had it on my craft table for about, 9 months maybe. And I kind of like it. I kind of love it.
Roseanne Incavaria Ross. Do you like to see pictures of finished products? If so, how can it be shared?
Oh yeah. So you guys, I have a group on Facebook. I hope if you're on Facebook, it's Roycycled Upcycling with Decoupage. And I love when you guys share your finished projects. Absolutely. Because you guys inspire me. You might do something and I'll copy you. And whenever I am inspired by someone, I will always try and, tell them. But sometimes I see stuff in my feed and I forget who it was. And so I'll just say I saw it on Pinterest or I saw it on Facebook. Now this one, when we had our retreat, all of the retailers took a class with Lexi and did something similar to this. Not exactly, but similar to what we're doing tonight. Lexi Grenzer, by the way, if you guys don't know who Lexi is already. So once I decide where to put this, I don't have to keep my flowers there. I am just trying to be consistent so that all of my pieces go underneath the way I want them to. Because this is a pretty blunt end, right? So I wanted to go underneath this flower right here.
7 minutes.
7 minutes. He's giving me the countdown, y'all. 6 minutes to get fresher on. I think I have to finish this though, babe. I mean, I'm going to try to get done in 7 minutes. But if I don't, I have to finish, okay?
All right. Jenny Marmion, after my long week last week, I did some crafting today. It helped.
Yes. I know, Jenny. How's your son doing? I'm hoping he's doing good.
Yeah. Now she's battling with Facebook, so she might need to craft again.
Lord. Yeah. I didn't get the new Facebook for a while, and it's weird because not all of my accounts have the new Facebook. So that's like a whole nother thing.
Marty Leibarger Hardy, I don't see your bushel basket on your site. I could have sworn I just saw it today. Didn't I?
Yeah, it's on there. It's like on page. It doesn't. The stencils don't have their separate page yet. I want to say it's like on page 9, but I do not carry the bushel trans. You have to get it from one of the retailers. So if you are a retailer and you're on tonight, if you guys can put up your websites, not your Facebook pages, but your websites to where customers can find the stencils, that would be awesome. Especially if you have the bushel or if it's on the way. I produced an insane amount of stencils and I cannot believe they sold out. Like, so we're in the process of making more. And has everyone on here used transfers before? Like, aren't they just fabulous? Because once you put it down, the only thing that stays behind is the actual artwork. So I love decoupage and I use it, but the transfers are just like another tool in your toolbox.
Jenny's son is home and healing now.
Very good.
Very good. All right, since we were talking about substitutions, let's say you don't have a transfer. Could I put dried flowers on?
If they're flattened, yeah.
Or even if they're not, it would give it a 3-dimensional pop.
It would be, they have to be, otherwise if you put some wet flowers on there, they wouldn't stay. Like,
that's why I said dried flowers.
Yeah, oh, dried flowers. Yeah, I guess you could. Just use like a gel medium or something to glue them on, something substantial to hold them. Or you could fussy clip flowers out of a paper too, and you could decoupage on here.
So since we're talking about substitutions tonight.
No, that's good, baby. Ooh, that one was work. It's so pretty though. Sorry, I'm getting excited because it's, don't you guys love like when you have a vision for something and it starts coming together? I get excited when that happens, when it starts happening. Oh Lord. I'm trying to make sure this vine is going to be underneath this leaf and it's not going to be floating. And I need that to be there. And so this piece I think is a little long, but I think it needs to be because that's going to have to come all the way down.
You know, 2 years, last year and the year before, we were apparently a cat sanctuary, this block.
Yes.
There were dozens of feral cats just running around, mainly because somebody 2 or 3 doors down
Yes.
would put food out.
Yes. Well, it started a long time ago.
Did it?
So the house next door that's now vacant, there was a lady who lived there, and her kids came and moved her out, and they left all her cats.
Oh, gotcha.
And so Kathleen felt bad, and so she's fed them and stuff. But she started catching them and neutering them last year.
Oh, good. Okay.
And so that's why there's fewer cats now. Because
The
for
reason-
a while it was out of control.
Oh, it was insane. The reason I bring it up is now apparently we're a dog haven
they have some hound dogs down the street. It's just, I mean, it's not that many. It just sounds like it.
And they've got, I think it's not. I don't think they have a Malamute, but they've got some dog that's in that family, that kind of large hound.
Yeah.
German Shepherd, Malamute, those kinds of dogs.
Yeah.
Across the street, who was wonderful when he was a puppy.
Oh, now he's loud.
But when I walk out there, it's like, oh my God, is Cujo coming?
Oh, is he coming to get you? He can see you through the fence, baby.
I think he's about 2 more months away from hopping that fence.
He's protecting his family.
I'm gonna have to run to my car.
And then you see Davis out walking all his babies every morning.
Yes, Davis is.
His fur babies.
Kathleen Hoovis, you can use fresh flowers, put a paper towel over it, hammer over it, the flower will show up. Marley Grace Creations, to use paint or ink on your bucket stencil.
You can use either. I use Posh Pigments, I think is what I use on this one. But you can use paint. But you guys know with stencils, you want to use very little paint. And that's with any stencil, right? So you can use either. But I used Posh Pigments is what I used. These are like thicker. I mean, not pigments. I use Posh's metallic paste is what I used on this bucket. But you can use black paint too, though, or ink. And I keep coming back to double check because I want to make sure my edges are where they're supposed to be so that all my stuff is covered up when I get done. I don't know if I'm going to need this poppy. What do you guys think? I almost feel like I don't need that poppy. I don't think I'm going to put it. And if I have to add it later, I'll just have to be creative. So,
all right, you're in overtime.
I'm in overtime. Okay, we have one more. It's a big one though. It's a biggie. But I want us to finish, baby. Look, we are this close to the finish line. I think we can do it. What do you guys think?
Speaking of Biggie, what happened to him?
He is hanging up in our living room.
I thought we were donating him.
Well, we were leaving to Tucson, and I was going to reach out, and I
that's right,
didn't, and then you were going to reach out, and then you didn't, and so they had the auction, and it's over.
That's right.
So you were focused on Comic-Con.
I was. Now I got to get mine off the ground.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so pretty. I'm going to show you guys a trick.
Yes, because Mindy Hogan Cassidy says, I'm a terrible stenciler. I always seem to slip.
So you can use, my favorite is Pixie Spray, and I do have it in my Amazon store. You can spray the back of your stencil with an adhesive, and it's just a temporary adhesive, and that'll help keep it steady. Or even just like a piece of blue tape, you can cheat like that too. Of painter's tape, because it's low tack, can help keep it from slipping. But that Pixie Spray, I just love it so much. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys something. When you're dealing with like a big field of transfer like this one is, you can cheat if you can catch air underneath your stencil. Let me get part of it lifted up, and then I'll show you guys what I mean. Because I can be here rubbing until tomorrow night. So what you're going to do is you just like make a wave, and that stencil will pop off if you can catch air. You guys see that? I should bring you in closer, huh? Aw, man. My rubber band's in the way. You guys should see my little setup here. It's pretty funny. I don't want to give you guys a microscopic view, so I'm trying to be careful because sometimes it gets a little carried away. Okay, so if you can like make your paper wave like this, you know, so I'm pushing it so that the paper makes a little wave, your transfer will pop off, and it's a way that you can do your transfer a lot faster. You just want to make sure that if you do it like this, that you really go back and make sure it's adhered to your surface, because when you do it like this, you're not really pushing it onto your surfaces, on your surface more than you are actually popping it off of the backing. And so when you do this, you want to make sure that you go back and make sure it's adhered to your surface really well.
And Felicia Brown and Joan Volkman both say they like the extra poppy.
You guys like the I can still put it on there. I was kind of trying to rush a little bit too, so we could actually see what the project was going to look like. But you guys see how I'm doing that? Like by creating that wave, my transfer is popping off a lot faster than it would if I just rub down each individual section. Now there are some sections that aren't coming off, but it's not a big deal. I just lay it back down in its original place and just rub those parts off. And as I get closer to the end, I'm gonna be a lot more careful so that I don't like pop something off and have the paper land where I don't want it to be.
Dreaming Cat Studio watching on YouTube is so much better. I will say this, I think it's a sharper picture.
Oh yeah.
So I can say that part. And I imagine watching on TV. Because that's how we watch YouTube. We watch it on TV.
So now that I have it all down, I'm going to take the shiny part of my paper and I'm just going to get a smaller piece because that big old piece is just too much. But I like to take my paper and just kind of go over it. And I am just making sure, especially if you're going to do, you know, the wave like we did, you want to make sure that you have really good contact between your transfer and your surface. But how pretty is that? I love this. Oh wait, you guys can't see it. Hold on, let me pull you out.
And remember your poppy. We have others that.
Okay, so we're everybody's in on the poppy. Okay, we'll add.
Well, I got two that are in on the poppy. I don't know.
I think maybe I'll put the poppy over here. For some reason, putting it right there just doesn't feel good to me. I think I'm gonna put the poppy right here. I think that'll be better. Or maybe right here. Or maybe I'll just have it falling down here. I don't know. I'm just not feeling that poppy, y'all.
Well, if you don't feel it, then remember, it's your piece.
I know. I just, for some reason, this poppy is causing problems. Because it's going to change the shape. Like, I feel like this is a really nice shape right here. And maybe right here I do need something, huh? But I don't know if that poppy is going to do it, even right there. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I feel like if I'm going to put anything, it needs to be something kind of like that, maybe.
I think the poppy stem has to be behind. I think that's where the problem is.
Well, yeah, I'd have to trim it now.
Yeah.
So I will show you guys. So let's say you're doing this piece, right? And you're like, oh man, I wanted to add it. You can still add it, but just know you're going to want to trim the bottom to fit, right? So rather than going behind it, it's going to have to fit right next to it as closely as possible. So like I can add this, whoops.
We got lots saying no poppy.
Yeah, I'm thinking no on the poppy. But I can still put this right here and it can fit really close next to that leaf. So it still looks natural, and you can always trim your stems to fit. I just find that it's easier if it goes underneath, because then I don't have to worry about the shape. And see, that piece fit there really nicely. But I'm feeling like that's a really nice shape. What do you guys think? How fun is this? And this is why Lexi and I, when our vision when we created these stencils was to create opportunities for you guys to make your own custom artwork. We have the bushel, we have the cloche, we have the globe, we have the urn. The urn is super popular. Just a couple. This is the only one that I have. I'm gonna have to take a really good picture of this one because we don't have any other with the bushel. We do from class, but not that we have that are like done. But like this is the urn, and so you can see this is one that Lexi did. I think this is another one of Lexi's. where she used a stamp and then she watercolored. And then Carmen actually used a cloche on top of the urn. And then she filled her cloche with flowers and she used a ticking too. And Carmen used a cloche here with some Roycycled decoupage paper. This is from the Christmas Master Board decoupage paper. And so this is like Christmas decor. And here's the cloche. I think we all love that cloche. Here's the cloche here. This is one that Lexi made. And she used it with the Noel paint inlay from IOD, I believe, to create this one. And then this one, the tutorial for this specific project is actually on my YouTube channel. And that the photo inside the cloche is actually from the Roycycled Halloween Masterboard decoupage paper. And even this, she did some chalkboard art using the stencil. So the bottom is the cloche stencil, and then she used IOD's erasable white ink along with the harvest stamp to create the, to put things inside of the cloche. And then of course Bounty is with the retro stamp. So there are so many options with the new Roycycled stencils. It's really been fun making the stencils because we create all the time. I think we created things that like we really, really wanted to work with. And so I'm hoping that you guys enjoy the stencils as they make their way out to everybody. But I think that's it because we're over time tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And I just I know I show you guys this every week, and it's the God honest truth. There is not anything that I have done here today that you guys cannot absolutely do yourselves. You guys can do this. You guys can do this today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you guys, Lord willing, next Sunday. You guys have a blessed week.